Welcome to Karibu Anawim's program, 15 Minutes at Dr. Zayli's Desk, where we explore topics related to living with a facial disfigurement. This program is for you, your loved ones, for educational purposes and professionals who would like to know more about living with facial disfigurement. Our presenters have lived experience, research background, or work with people living with facial disfigurement. It's important to begin the conversation with terminology that society understands and is clear. We use the word disfigurement as it is the medical and legal terminology. We recognise you may identify with other words such as visible difference or with your own diagnosis. Let's see where the conversation goes. So pull up a seat, grab a cuppa, and let's chat around the table with Karibu Anawim's 15 Minutes at Dr. Zayli's Desk.
Hello guys, this is Zayli or Dr. Zayli, and today we are talking about we're having our monthly question and answer time. Last week we recapped on what we looked at and talked about in February, March and April through the lens of parenting, and today, thank you very much for your kind questions that you have either put in, or some of you have actually given some comments, and I may be able to read them out later. For now, we've got 5 questions. Yep. So shall we begin? And thank you very much for tuning in, either live or afterwards. Great to have you. There's a few people talking. I can interact with you. If you can type up some comments, that would be good. I will be able to see your comments. Shall we get cracking? I think we should. The first question is, my heart breaks each time I hear my daughter being bullied at school. How do I remain strong for her so I can be a good emotional support to her? Well, first thing, this is just ideas, okay? This is not any information that I give you, or they're just suggestions or comments. You know, they're just ideas that may or may not help you in your situation, or just some ideas to, you know, bounce off and make your own, yeah? So, remaining strong for her. Well, you need to first look after yourself, yeah, and what you're feeling, and acknowledging your feelings of, oh my gosh, you know, my heart breaks, and you know, yes, it is a sucky time. Acknowledge your feelings and voice them. If she's sad and she sees you sad, there's no reason why you can't say, well, mummy feels sad because they're saying nasty things about you, and that's untrue. They're untrue. You're not horrible. You are not nasty, or you are not, you know, you don't look like a monster. You look different, but you don't look like a monster. And sometimes, you know, we need some professional help. So don't be afraid to seek it, because you want to be strong for your daughter. So you need to model what is strength. You know, do you want her to know that it's okay to reach out, to go to help and have help when you don't know the answers? Or what, you know, being healthy and having a good emotional intelligence will be of support to her, even if it may not feel like it. And even bullying, with the issue of bullying, go to the school, air your concerns, and go to the school again and air your concerns. Go to the school again and air your concerns. If you are not being listened to, or you are being brushed off, or your child is being made to be the one that needs the help, or your parenting skills are brought into question, know that this is not uncommon. Unfortunately, it's not. So if they don't believe you, take someone else with you that will actually say, yes, this is happening, and record the incidences in detail. Create a detailed diary of the events. Date the event, tell who, what, where, and when, and how, and continue to record it as your child tells you, and it's evidence. And share that with your child, that, you know, what they're going through is not nice, and it hurts you, and it hurts them, and it sucks. It just sucks. Bullying sucks, full stop. Any comments? I think we should go to question 2. Question 2. I get tired of people staring at my son. What can I do when this happens? I am shy and would rather not talk to people. It sucks too. Unfortunately, people will still continue to stare as much as we don't want society to do it. However, we're living in an imperfect world with imperfect people who really don't know how to behave around people living with facial disfigurement. What can you do? Well, there's 2 things. You could just say hi and smile, and this is, you know, to the stare bears, and this could be an icebreaker and allow them to go, oh my gosh, I'm staring, kind of thing. Oh, dear me, and say hi again, you know, and so that breaks the ice. Or you could, because you don't like talking to people, you could say out loud to your son, oh, honey, I think there's some admirers here of yours. They can't keep their eyes off of you. Let me say that again. Oh, honey, I see that there's some admirers of yours here. They can't keep their eyes off of you. Do you reckon we should give them, you know, do you reckon you should go up and give them a, you know, say hi to them, or, you know, just loud enough for them to hear. But that is in between you and your son. You are not actually then talking to people. You are then talking out loud in amongst yourselves. And that's rather a rude way, I'd reckon, of doing it. But sometimes can be called for. And educate your child that it's not nice. But ask him what he wants to do about it. In a few months, we're going to be looking at how to create and use our powerful truth in our stories. So in another few months, have a look out for, I don't know what I've called it, but it's telling your own story, because we go through that in great detail in another few months. Question 3. My daughter's doctor, or my daughters, it says my doctor. My doctor's talking about surgery for my child. Do you have, spelt wrong, any advice for surgery and its outcomes? I'm not quite sure whether or not surgery is right for my child. Yeah, complete with a spelling mistake. That's my spelling mistake, guys. Firstly, listen to your gut. Just because the doctor suggests surgeries doesn't necessarily mean it's going to improve their appearance, or the way that you hope that it's going to improve it, or that the surgery offered may benefit your child. So just listen to that mummy or daddy gut, yeah? Personal story of mine. When I was little, like, I had cosmetic surgery before the age of 4. So before I went to kindergarten, no, was it before I went to kindergarten or during kindergarten? I have to ask. Oh, I'm not quite sure. But my mum and dad were given the opportunity for my eyelid to be stitched up to the top. So excuse me for guys that are going to be looking at this, it would just look completely like this all the time. It would not be able to blink. I would have dry eye, and I reckon by now I would have had it out. I would have had an enucleation, which means your eyeball out, and they would have to have put a new one in, you know, a prosthesis eye. Thankfully, my mum and dad said no to that surgery. because they said, can she blink? What's the likelihood of it? And they said, no, you'll have to patch it. You'll have to put gel in it. You'll have to, but it will be open. So I am grateful to them that they did not do this surgery. Too many surgeries can also have adverse effects later on in life, more complications than the doctors may be aware of, when your child is, in their 40s or their 50s or their 60s. That's coming through now. I'm hearing anecdotally that the parents have not been able to accept their child as how they looked. And so they went for surgery after surgery after surgery after surgery, trying to better their appearance, their child's appearance. But in their 40s, where they are now, in their 50s, that's having side effects that was obviously quite not known at that time. But that's just a little bit of a thought for you. Sometimes surgery isn't an option, or the options are not the right ones, and sometimes the doctors will gloss over the risks knowingly or unknowingly, or even they don't know the long-term effects because nobody's studied things for 40 years. Usually they study things up to maybe 12 months, I think, from memory. What is important that you learn to love your child's face just the way it is, and take time and you model this and you love their appearance, and this in turn will be able to, you loving your child's appearance will in turn help your child accept themselves for who they are and what they look like. That is very, very important. And if you can't do that, or you need some help in doing that, and you and your family need some help doing that, please holler, because our services are here. We're specialised in this area, and this is what we do. Question 4. My child is getting bullied because of my appearance. The school doesn't take me seriously when I approach. It's getting to the point where they are blaming my child. Help. Well, firstly, besides the fact that I am sorry that this is happening to you, and I am going to normalize it and say it happens quite a lot. And I'm having a drink. Would you like to join me? Many schools just don't know how to do this. They have got no support whatsoever. They have not had any training on having I'm just using myself as the example, yeah. They haven't had any training on facial disfigurement and what that would look like for me as a little girl, let alone me as the parent, which I am now, and their child or your child is getting bullied because of your appearance. So that is a tough one, but they haven't had any education and training on this. So get out your pen, make the notes, make the date, tell what happened during the bullying incident, and if you're feeling isolated, jot it down, the date, with whom, who, what, where, and when, and how the situation is. And this is a running record. And write it in a diary, write it in a book, keep it all in one space, place a line over it, not line over it, like line under it, because then we happen to forget. We just forget the amount of bullying that takes place. And take a friend with you if the school continues not to listen to you. Take a support person with you and take the notes into the meeting. This won't necessarily help the bullying, but it will demonstrate the consistency of who, what, where, and when the bullying has been happening. And if you need to and can afford to, some schools are better than others. And I'm not advocating that you take a child out of school. I'm not advocating that you should change schools, but it's something to think about. And homeschooling is, in a lot of countries, also able to be done. You may not be able to do that, not the fact that you didn't think that you could do it, but yeah, homeschooling is also an option. Just putting it out there. Don't get bitter. Talk to your child and create a plan. When are they going to tell you? How are you going to record it? Sort of thing. Our weeks and days get really, really busy. If you can say, okay, rightio, today after school, if an incident has happened, we need to record it. So at 5 o'clock today, whilst the veggies are going on, get my pen, get my paper, or get my book, and I'll write it out. Or you can write it out if they can. And acknowledge that this is sucky and the feelings, and acknowledge that this isn't fair. But it is the reality, and it is happening. So people like to say, are you sure this is bullying? Are you sure that it's going on? Are you sure? And yeah, it is usually happening. Yes, it is happening. So hopefully those little suggestions may have helped. Question 5, and our last one before I have another sip. Today might go a little bit longer because we've got question 5 and we've got to do our lovely paternity release after this. As a parent with congenital third nerve palsy, how do I explain it to my child? She keeps on asking me to open my eye wider. I worry about bullying. I hate wearing a long fringe, but it's almost become a comfort blanket. Well, this is how I would approach it. You explain it in simple language, and third nerve palsy is what I've got, yeah? So it's pretty easy. This is what I've done. This is what I continually do, even if it's not for my child, because my child knows, and I did that when she was 1. And so now your child is 4. I would say something like, when mummy was born, mummy's eyelid didn't work like yours. My brain told my eye to stop working like yours does. Your eye blinks and moves together with the other eye to help you run fast and jump over logs. Mummy's doesn't do that. And there's no doctors that can fix it. And there's nothing wrong with mummy's eyes. It just looks like this. Doesn't hurt. Would you like to see what it looks like? And if you are able to, open your eye and have a good look and see what color your eyes are and her eyes are, and have a nice big chat about your differences and how differences are great. How her voice is different to your voice. How grandma and grandpa's face is all wrinkly now because they're old. But we still love our faces, regardless of whether or not my eye is shut, your eyes are open, all that sort of thing. As for hating the long fringe and it becoming like a blanket, comfort blanket, I'm guessing that's because when you wear a long fringe, it stops the stares and the questions. Well, that's been a way of coping that's been a coping strategy, that's been an acceptance strategy of yours. It's probably now time, maybe, for a new level of acceptance, maybe necessary. You know, you might need to seek help in combating this, so therefore you can, you know, have a long fringe like mine and be able to whack it back and not worry about things. Yeah, sure, some days are tougher than others, I will admit, you know, even for myself. But being able to be like this without any, without any makeup except for lippy, I've got a little bit of lippy on, is a wonderful thing. It's a freedom to have. It costs, because you have to deal with things that you don't really want to deal with inside, and I've dealt with those, and dealing with them as they arise, okay? As they arise, I have to deal with them. And in helping yourself, you might need to, you know, you'll be helping your child. So I'm hoping that this has been great for you. And these are some ideas for people. They've been really tough questions. And hopefully we've just had a nice chat about them, and you've got some ideas that you can run with from here, or make them your own. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. And to remember to practice some self-care and being kind to you and your family. Should we practice the maturity release? This is the liquid love one. This is the last week that we're doing it. Okay, this exercise will help your brain regulate. It can help reduce stress and pain. And I got this from Cheryl Townsley, which she's a naturopath and life coach. And the pituitary gland affects so much of us, from so many of our hormones, from blood sugar, digestion, right through. So this is called the pituitary release. So place 3 fingers in front of your face, either side of your eyebrow, and one in the middle of your eyebrows, such as like this. And at the back of your head, you'll find a gape or a hole or a nape of your hole, just where your brain stem meets your neck. And just put the 3 fingers, those 3 fingers, I can't do it. Those 3 fingers at the back, in between there. And so, and we lift up, okay, when we breathe. So we usually do this generally 3 times, and it's great just before you go to sleep to calm that mind. So should we do it together? Ready, set, breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, right? Ready? 1, 2, 3. In through your nose, hold, and out through your nose. Again, in through your nose, and out through your nose. And in through your nose, and out through your nose. Oh, and then you release it. And if you need to do it a few more times, oh no, there it is. Oh, it just rolls over. It's rolling over my body right now. You might need to do it a few more times before we release. You can use support groups. You can go to our webpage. You can find support pages on our webpage. Just take a moment for a second. Next week, or in June, because we are in the 6th month of the year next week, we're going to be talking about grief. That's fun. But we're going to be introducing living with grief and what grief looks like, how it appears, what happens for the month of June. Thank you very much for coming, and hopefully that you have this has helped you. And if you need to reach out, can you reach out to us? I'm just getting things ready and organised. I don't have an extra person doing this for me. So thank you, and see you same time, same place next week.
By golly gosh, it's the end of Karibu Anawim's 15 Minutes at Dr. Zaley's Desk, and that's a wrap for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Please remember that all information given during this episode is for general application only. If you have any specific medical issues, as always, consult with your medical practitioner. Like, subscribe and share on whatever platform you find us on. For more information, please connect with Karibu Anawim on our website at karibuanawim.com or email us at inquiries@karibuanawim.com.